Ladies and gentlemen, like we talked about in our last video, Shiloh Sanders played absolutely terrible against K-State, but the reality is he wasn't the only cause and issue and problem of Colorado losing that game. Now, they did play a decent game, but there was a lot to be left. A lot of meat left on that bone, as one Stephon Diggs, a Cardi B stealer, would say. But the most important thing we need to focus on here is the fact that in that last game in which Colorado was within 3 of beating K-State, they rushed for a total of negative 29 yards. Now, that didn't help that Shiloh Sanders had negative 50 rushing yards, but the two running backs combined for a total of over 25 rushing yards combined with them in a combined total of 10 or 20 or 10 to 15 carries. We'll look deeper into that there. It's ridiculous. It's abysmal. It's not something that should be acceptable at a Division I football. And I'm going to break that down for you. First thing we're going to do is kind of talk about Shiloh Sanders and him acknowledging how bad he played. But then I also want to talk about some of the injuries and really put the full context, because Colorado was in a bit of a predicament. I mean, you lose Travis Hunter, you lose Jimmy Horn, you lose Amarion Miller to the season, which it was just recently announced that he's going to be undergoing surgery. We're going to look at those things and add some context and really show you the biggest bane of this Colorado offense, and it's the fact they don't want to run the ball. But I appreciate y'all watching this video. Please leave a like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy college football content and updates and things in between. So like I talked about, we're going to first start with Shiloh Sanders. Just a lot of people in the last video were kind of, pretty hard on the kid, and it's kind of hard to say kid. He's been in college football for 6 years, but at the same time, he's never really been one to be negative or not or shy away when something is what it is. So coming out and seeing his words like they are,
that's been my biggest season, and something like that happens, it's kind of discouraging. But you just got to keep going with it because it's a long season, and then you work to get back, then you get back, you have the worst game of your life. It's really disappointing for me, and especially the fans, So, and I've been seeing everybody turn on me and stuff like that, but I'm not worried about none of that, because as soon as you do good, they're going to be right back on your side, just how they was when they won the UCF game out there in Florida. So I'm not really worried about none of that. I'm worried about me getting better, I'm worried about contributing to the team and helping us win. And, my role, I can't be going out there not on my game. I'm the free safety. If I mess up, everybody gonna see it. So I gotta pay attention to detail and be on my game at all times.
I mean, and that's real. I don't know what else you want, what's it called, from someone like that, someone who should be mature, right? Who is notoriously been the heart and soul of this offense. Of the defense. And I just want to say that we can all say that Shiloh Sanders plays terrible. His dad said it. He agreed. Everybody agrees, but going past that and saying that he's this and that and calling him anything else but a child of God, kind of grinds my gears a little bit. But hey, y'all do as you do. You do as you please. I just wanted to show you that the humility that y'all often say that this team lacks is being shown by one of the daddy's favorite, as y'all like to say. But continuing forward, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr., and Will Shepherd will play this Saturday, announced by Coach Prime. Mario Miller and Terrell
play for certain on Saturday. Jimmy as well. Timmons, Marion. Those two guys are probably out, and Will Shepherd should play as well.
That was terrible. And you lose Will Shepherd here at the end of there. And this is kind of him touching on.
You mentioned Omarion Miller's not going to play on Saturday.
Right.
What's your message for him? Is there a chance he might be able to come back at
I
some
don't
point
know.
this season?
I really don't know. I think he had surgery yesterday. So I don't think he'll be back this season.
Yeah, it was a very tough, very, very tough injury. And we're going to get into these videos because these are the best, because it kind of highlights some of the things that we're going to get into in the rushing game. But before we touch on that, I do want to give Amarion Miller his grace. He is and was, I think, a standout receiver for them and someone who could be that 4th, 5th option because of how much talent rich that wide receiver core is, or a really good number 3 option. And he showed that as soon as your top 2 receivers goes down, he just becomes an amazing a part of this offense. So no lacking in talent there. Hopefully he gets back soon. Hopefully he gets back great. This is it's pretty sad story
but when
here.
you see a teammate like Omari and Miller make the plays that he did and then go down with an injury, as a veteran, is there anything you can say to somebody like that to kind of get them through this period?
Just be there for them. That's pretty much all you can do. And it hurt more because before the game, he was feeling it. Like, he told me, like, this going to be one of them games where he feel like he gonna be able to get off. So, I mean, it kind of hurt. It definitely hurt seeing him go down. You know.
And he did go off. He had himself a day. Again, his grades there at 86.2, 89 offensive grade. He had them numbers. He had those things, and he really showed that he could be a great impact. Hopefully, if he comes back to the Buffaloes. Now, getting back to the Buffaloes, like I told you, and I stress, and I keep saying in every video, and for some reason, some of y'all keep coming in my comments talking about, oh, well, no, Shiloh Sanders is the best quarterback in football. Just keep throwing the ball. It's okay, dog. You've never watched football. I'm assuming it's new. You only watch when Colorado plays, and that's fine, dog. It's a very, very exciting brand of football. I'm not hating on you. It's awesome. But if you would watch a little more football, expand, get to the nasty Mac. You know what I'm saying? Get some of that all up in you. Get the American in you. Get Conference USA games implanted into your mind socket, right? Watch a little Mountain West at 3 a.m. for no reason, okay? You're going to start seeing what I like to call trends in this overall landscape of college football, and this, if you can't control the time of possession, that is, you're not going to win a game. And you can't control the time of possession without an effective run game. Now, that doesn't mean you need to force the ball if it's not effective, but there's different ways to incorporate the run play. There's different ways to get this offense a little more excited and getting those easy yards. But let's talk about some of the negatives here, what Coach Prime's going to talk about. Oh, no, sorry. Here we go. So some of the negatives that Coach Prime's going to go over. Then after that, we're going to talk about the new offensive coordinator, Mr. Schumer, and how he's talking about he wants to run the ball. We're going to get into that right now before we get into this. I'm just saying.
We got 3 days to get the run game right, and we're going to do it at all costs. We can't win a game the way we need to win a game until we get out of our own way and run the damn ball. Look. So, lineman, you got to move your feet and use your hands. I'm tired of seeing hands down by your nuts. Get your hands up and put your hands on guys, right? Move your feet and use your hands. Running backs, be disciplined with your pass. Quit cutting back so fast, because the second level just falls back and tackles you. Press it. If we're trying to run outside zone, try to run outside. Even if it looks like it's not going to happen, then you can cut up. And then quarterbacks, we've got to do a better job of carrying out our fakes. That all contains it. Running back, our receivers keep pressing on the perimeter.
Okay, Pat Schumer needs to get his talking up a little better. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be able to command that room a little better. But other than that, I mean, he's saying the easy, obvious truth. This is a guy who's coached on a lot of big places and a lot of big spaces. I mean, he's telling you that you cannot win a game without running the ball. I don't know why y'all are telling me that Shiloh Sanders needs to throw the ball 70 times a game to effectively close out a game, but it's just not. Let's back it up here. Let's back it up. I'm going to show you that the proof happens to be inside the pudding. So I have some stats pulled up. I like stats from time to time because I yap a lot, and it's easy to dismiss me. But when it's cold, hard, factual facts, I don't think it is. Rushing offense throughout the nation. This is all 133 teams at the FBS level. Colorado is 130th. Guess, man, Florida State, y'all are having an abysmal. Anyway, Colorado, who has infinitely more wins than Florida State, I think like 400% more. I think Florida State only has 1 win still. So Colorado being 4-2. This is a 4-2 team at the middle of their conference right now, at midway through the season, and they are one of the worst top 5 worst rushing offenses of all time. And that comes to rushing yards or rushing touchdowns, and also yards per game. And let's get more specific here. 374 rushing yards. I'm trying to see. So is there anybody up here that has less? Nope. Okay. So yeah, this is based on rushing yards. So they're one of the lowest in rushing yards. They have one of the lowest averages at 243. I don't see anybody. Yep, no one in the twos there. And then one of the lowest, of course, rushing touchdown. Okay, they let they backs rush touchdown. That's something. And then yards per game at an abysmal 62.3. Golly. Continuing on and continue forward, because there's more stats. Time of possession, like we talked about. So not having be able to run the ball has you pretty low on time of possession. Now, you're at the bottom of the league. Now, you're not the worst in the league, so that's good, Colorado, that you're not the absolute worst, but you are 104 out of 130 at all the FBS level. You got Pac-2 teams, North Texas, who has just been, I believe, struggling this year. Florida, who can't pull anything together when it comes to a consistent win, but they're a decent team. Wyoming, Dynair, Akron, Marshall. I mean, whoa. Alabama and Oklahoma. We need to talk about these boys. If this is the truth in the pudding, we got some issues here. But hey, you see how Oklahoma season's going. Hook 'em horns. But I got more stats, dog. You thought I didn't have more stats? 128 out of 134 at the FBS level. And what you ask? Guess what? Team rushing attempts per game. So when I talk about this, I'm not saying that, like, I'm saying this is fixable. In the clear, easy fix is just giving the running backs more carries. That, I know that's crazy, but stop putting yourself in these third and medium and third and longs and stalling out your drives. This is what I'm talking about, though. And people, I think y'all just watch highlights. I think y'all just watch post-game highlights because, hey, Colorado plays pretty late. I understand. It could be some late games. You know, y'all aren't committed like me. I stay up to 3 a.m. watching that bullshit. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. But what you'll see is, when you watch full games, is that they're putting themselves in bad situations by making third downs hard. Okay? This is a game within a game. And if you don't want to play the game to make sure that if you do get set up for a third down, that it's reasonable, then you're not playing the game correctly. Pat Schumer. Okay? Why are we trying to make it harder on ourselves? Because I get it. Shiloh Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But you're not even giving your running backs a chance to help your best quarterback in the league, because if there's no presence in the run game, your time possession is bad. Obviously, your total yards are bad. And clearly outlasting at the end of a game where you had the win. I know the defense gives a big play, but theoretically, if that drive that y'all come down to make that touchdown before they had that 50-yard bomb, if that took, a little more time, if that was a long, lengthy one, if y'all can get into a 4-minute offense right there, I think it's a different story. And maybe that's just me. But I got more stats. I don't know why I have so many stats. Team rushing yards per game. And, of course, they're going to be right down here in 130 at 63. But we already talked about that. Again, negative 29 yards in their last game. If you can't run the ball, you can't win a football game because you cannot control the football game. So as much as we talk about Shiloh, as much as I'm going to let Dion talk about injuries and how the team amazingly stepped up. Let's not undercut that. There was a lot of injuries. You lose your best player on offense and defense in Travis Hunter, and it didn't really feel like Colorado missed much of a beat, right? It seemed like for much of the same team, just without the explosion of Travis Hunter and the speed of Jimmy Horn, right? But other than that, I mean, that rookie cornerback came up and he made the pick. I mean, that was a big game changing type of play. So I think that's good. But I want to hear him talk about these things. But just before I talk about it, there was a lot of factors. We're gonna talk about Shiloh and playing a terrible game. He admits he played a terrible game. We can all see he plays a terrible game. But they've got a chance if they can just fix 3 things. Shiloh Sanders plays good. Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn are healthy. And god dang, we run the ball. I mean, they're going to be in a pretty good situation. But let's hear Deion Sanders talk about these injuries, and we'll close it out here.
How has that been looking like this so far in this year, like with your team
great.
and whatnot?
I mean, it's good that you recruit like you recruit. It's good that you sign players out of the portal that's already ready. It's good that we have a balance of youngsters that can step up and do the job. That's why we do what we do. It's hard to have a quarterback like you have, and then 3 or 4 guys go down, and you got a field full of freshmen. You got to understand what it looks like to a quarterback. Like, oh Lord, where am I going to throw? Who's going to get open? Who's going to run the right route? Thank God that we have a recruiting department that does a phenomenal job, that goes into the portal and get those guys that are already ready, as well as developing those young guys that may take that role on head on, like a bunch of them practiced today, because we gave a break to a lot of our guys that were limping and a little injured. We want them to be 100% come Saturday.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That's a whole different video for a whole different day, kind of dispelling this myth that Deion Sanders apparently doesn't recruit. Even though I will say there is some concerning, and this is the story here, there's some concerning things right here where you have a guy out of, what's it called? Not Chino Hills, but basically the same place that Travis Hunter came out of. What's it? Collins Hill. Sorry, it's like down the street from where I live. Actually, it's kind of crazy. Not down the street, but it's like 40 minutes. But the kid's head coach said Travis Hunter's former coach personally told me that Deuce and another 4-star teammate who plays defense in are waiting to hear from Colorado. So they just haven't heard from Colorado. So that's interesting. I mean, that should be a place that you might have a link to. But you know, he's saying that he has the talent and backup to do it. But hey, again, another video for another day. Y'all be phenomenal. Y'all be great. Leave a like in this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Comment. Tell me how you feeling about the new updated Colorado team. You think they got a chance against Arizona? That particular video will be out soon. Y'all be phenomenal. Y'all be great. Subscribe, bell, all that stuff, man. See you next time. Peace.